Let's go over the best skills in Black Myth Wukong, everything you need to know about the different stances, and some cool tricks you likely didn't know about that can, for example, give you health back or deal some nice damage with an attack that's not necessarily made to do that. Shout out to Game Science for sponsoring this video. Totally check Black Myth Wukong out via the special link in the video description. And let's start by talking about an attack that I didn't even know about for most of the game, even though you can unlock it very early. Because surprisingly enough, the defensive move Mobile Spin from the Foundation skill tree can also be used as an attack. Its main function, deflecting projectiles, is very situational, as ranged enemies are not a threat in every part of the game. However, if you use this move in melee range with an enemy, you'll notice that you can actually do damage with it too. And if I'm being honest, it's pretty decent damage as well. Sure, charged heavies and combo finishers do more, but you can kind of use this as a way to deal sustained damage if you don't have focus built up. It works especially great on immobilized targets since they won't move out of range, and of course you don't have to worry about ranged attacks when using this attack. Definitely worth investing the skill point to unlock this to add a fun extra attack to your arsenal. But as I said, the strongest attacks are your charged heavy attacks, and in my opinion the best one is the one from the smash stance, so the one you start out with. This stance is incredibly useful thanks to the ability to charge your heavy attack while moving. The other two stances lock you in place, but with smash you can just walk up to an enemy while charging and unleash it when you get in range. You can even get the Force Unbound skill so you can charge it while sprinting, so that is even better. We also mentioned that one in our best items you want to get early video, which I'll link to in the video description. And you can of course expect a ton more tips and guides on the channel, so subscribe to not miss those and leave a like if you enjoyed the video so far. Okay, back to the smash stance now, as you can also gain a second special attack by unlocking your varied combo. Each stance has one of these that needs to be unlocked from the skill tree, and you perform them by doing a heavy attack in the middle of your light attack combo. The one for smash stance is called Resolute Counterflow, and it requires some getting used to before you can get the most out of it. When you have a focus point and press heavy attack during a light attack combo, Wukong will perform a heavy overhead slam. But during the animation for this attack, you are actually immune to damage, and if an enemy hits you, you see through them, making them easier to stagger. The timing to trigger this see-through effect is tricky to get the hang of, but it gives you the option to attack through an enemy's own attack, which is very useful. And you can upgrade it to have a follow-up attack by also grabbing the Skyfall Strike skill, which lets you perform a pole vault and then slam back down with an extended staff, which of course deals extra stagger damage if you triggered see-through on your first attack. These attacks make Smash the perfect stance for a highly aggressive playstyle, as you can charge heavy attacks on the move and can attack through an enemy combo thanks to Resolute Counterflow. And there's another skill that allows you to stay on the offensive even more, although this one isn't tied to any particular stance. Composure from the Foundation tree allows you to continue a combo after a dodge. Normally, when you dodge out of an attack combo, you are reset to the first move in the chain, where you obviously want to reach the end for the powerful finisher that deals the most damage. And most bosses don't give you enough of a window to pull off a full combo, which is why Composure is so great. Instead of resetting the first attack after you dodge, it saves your combo count while dodging, and you'll immediately transition into the next move of the chain when you attack straight out of a dodge. You can even chain multiple dodges together and still retain the combo as long as you attack straight after your last dodge. If you wait for too long or perform another action in between, you will drop your combo and have to start from the first move. And speaking of dodges, the final skill in the Foundation tree under Stamina lets your perfect dodge actually deal damage. With this Vengeful Mirage unlocked, your clone that you leave behind explodes, which is basically a free light attack hit on an enemy. So if you do your perfect dodges often, this one is totally nice to grab. Next to powerful offensive options, you also want some skills to cover your defense, and that is where the Pillar stance comes in. It becomes available from the skill tree at level 5, and it feels like the polar opposite of the smash stance, as its charged heavy attack is actually a great defensive move. It perks you on top of the staff, which puts you out of reach of most attacks, and the more focus points are charged up, the longer the staff grows, and of course the more powerful the attack you unleash when you let the button go. But there is a downside, as enemies can still hit your staff, which costs stamina, and if you run out, you lose balance and fall down. You can avoid this by unlocking the Towering Mountain upgrade, which just triggers a heavy attack at your current charge level when your stamina runs out. Next to being a very defensive stance, Pillar stance is also very good at dealing with groups of enemies thanks to the varied combo Sweeping Gale. Just like with smash stance, you trigger the attack by doing a heavy attack mid-light attack combo, and this time Wukong will plant his staff in the ground and spin around it, kicking every enemy around him. You can actually simply extend this spin by holding the attack button, which won't cost you extra focus points, but the move will automatically end if you run out of stamina. Still though, it is one of the few AoE attacks in your arsenal, so you definitely want to grab this and the pillar stance as soon as possible. The pillar stance is far from your only defensive option though, as you also have many powerful spells that can help you survive. Apart from transformations, each spell has its own separate skill tree, which makes covering them all individually a bit complicated, so instead of going over each one, I want to point out two particular upgrades that I think are very useful. The first one is any type of upgrade that allows you to recover your mana. Especially during challenging boss fights, mana is your most limiting factor when it comes to casting spells, as you generally don't have a way to refill it. So that's where something like Spirit Shards for Immobilize comes in really useful, as it allows you to regain a bit of mana when you crash an enemy's immobilization. Another spell that has this ability is Rock Solid, which you earn by beating the Tiger Vanguard in Chapter 2's Crouching Tiger Temple. The final skill in the tree for this spell, Bold Venture, reduces the parry timing window, but it will also restore mana when you do perform a successful parry. But even better than having more mana is having an extra source of healing, and with the Consolidation upgrade, the Ring of Fire skill can become just that. With this upgrade unlocked, standing in the circle will regenerate your health over time, and the healing effect is actually pretty strong. The main problem is staying in the circle while being attacked by enemies, but I discovered that perching on your staff in the pillar stance still counts as standing in the circle. So you can charge your heavy attack while being healed and being out of reach from enemies on the ground with these skills, so it's a very powerful combo. And the last stance in your arsenal, Thrust Stance, shouldn't be underestimated either. It becomes available after level 20, and out of the three, it's probably the most straightforward to use. The heavy attack is, as you'd expect, a long-range thrust, making it excellent for dealing with far away or flying enemies, with higher charge levels adding even more range to the attack. Your variant combo is also very useful, as it's a two-step move that involves a dodge for your first heavy attack input and then a quick step forward with a long-range thrust if you press the button a second time. The dodge can be performed without focus, so you can use it to cancel out of a combo and create some distance. So most of the moves in this stance revolve around creating and keeping your distance, but there is one exception, as Thrust also gets a unique light attack combo called Rolling Thrust, which is a continuous barrage of pokes and jabs that last as long as you have stamina for. After unlocking it from the skill tree, you can perform this move by holding the light attack button after performing a charged heavy attack, or after the dodge or thrust from the varied combo. The timing on this one can be a bit tricky, but it's an excellent way to deal sustained damage to a target that's slow or immobilized. Let us know what your favorite skills are in the comments, subscribe to not miss our next video, and leave a like if you enjoyed this one. If you want to learn about some amazing items you want to get early, click the video on the screen, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!